What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerd On Update, our weekly show in which we talk about the nerdy news that's exciting to us, interesting to us, makes us sad, news to us, all the various different things. And then the rest of the show, the last half of the show, in which we answer questions from you, the people. We don't introduce hosts and we don't go right into the show. We just talk and chat and see how everybody's doing.
Yeah. Catch up. The week has been long. Sometimes it's been longer. Sometimes whole months are years. Sometimes crazy.
It's been a year.
Like life events happen. Job changes happen. Medically, you can state like losing a job or gaining a job is an event in your life that would cause change in your plans and policies. So in other places, like the mom and pop store is a business and that has rights but not voting rights, but it has more rights to get more money than you do if like it exploded and you're in the building, like it's crazy, you know what I'm saying?
What is health insurance? B-Rad says
it's like so like in school how you got taught like this food pyramid. Imagine that, but instead it's just all schemes, right? So like somewhere somehow someone was like, but what if in order to live you had to pay money?
When I had my back stuff I'm still kind of dealing with it, but when I had like the actual procedures done in the summer, it was so much. It was so much monies. And when I got the bill, I was like, because it's worked before, I was like, I'm going to call the health insurance company and just see what can happen. And I called them and I was like, why do I have insurance? And they, we've worked in the corporate world, or the corporate retail, or any sort of corporate world. They very corporate speak told me, but there was still a discount. So if you look at the statement, you can see what it was originally, and then what we covered, and you're like, cool, get fucked.
Hey, your premium is going to cost you $297 a month. You're going to get into this accident. It's going to cost you like $15,000. But we knocked off like $60. It's like, what the fuck?
Or fucking Covered California. Like Covered California works off your income, and like when you're freelance, you're like, right now it looks like I'm going to make no monies, but if things work out, that's awesome. You get to the end of the year, I got fudged with taxes because we made more money than we thought we did, which is a positive, but also you're like, cool. Or you could just be like, I could make that, and now you have to spend like $1,000 a month or something stupid.
I'm not a legal or financial expert, anybody, but I will say this. I did the calculations and I saw how much that I would have had to pay if I had made more than I reported, because I was making less when I first signed up. Mm-hmm. And then it changed. And then I didn't change how much income I made. And so I do have to pay for some taxes because they're like, oh, your health insurance says that you made this much, even though you made a little bit more. And I was like, yes, I'm totally fine to pay that, because I would have to pay like 3 times as much if I was actually paying my true premium. And I was like, that's some bullshit. That's like literal dog water bullshit. It's like,
that's what we did. We were like, we're going to base it off of this, because what if it's those months that you don't have an income so much and now you've got to pay this massive premium, and then it's like, you know what, I'll just pay the low premium for now, and then at the end of the year, pay it back with my refund. I guess here we are.
Also, T-Dog, thank you for jumping on it. Something that we kind of missed in the beginning. It's something we always normally do, but it's something I think we just want to get right into it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hello, how y'all doing? Mamba, T-Dog, Ethan Who. We got Bad Reprint, Johnny Horror. Hello. Happy Monday. Up? Hope your weekends have been well. Hope you guys had some fun, exciting plans. Did I do much this week? Oh, I was gonna say, it's like, I did play that Mega Man. Oh man, I played so much fucking goddamn Mega Man.
Yeah.
That Mega Man Battle Network and Legacy Collection came out, and I streamed it a little bit. It's crazy because like a lot of people showed up during the pre-stream, and then as I started playing it, everyone just fucking pieced the fuck out, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna enjoy this game, and I just played it, and I've been playing it off stream, and I'm like, I'm almost done with the game. Like, fuck, I should save the ending at least in order to show what the end of the game looks like. But I don't know. I might just finish the entire goddamn game, like the entire series. It's 6 games, and I'm like, I fucking love them so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's chill. I'm not pissy. I think it's just a little funny that how that happens. But like, and that's the thing too, where it's like, I much rather would like play a game and just stream it and like have like a very chill day with like 2 people than like a lot of people and I'm playing a very stressful game. Like nothing against,
and you're like,
like nothing against like anyone who played, but I played League with some people on stream, and a lot of people showed up, and it was really cool that they did. But then I fucking hated the game. I hated the game, not because like the game is bad, but because the way the game wants players to interact with each other, of being like,
League of Legends, is that what that
League of Legends.
Oh.
So Josh, you know that paranoia you get of like playing any game with me and Corey and anyone else, of like, if you don't fucking do it right, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like that is how you have to play. Like that is casual play in League. If you're not doing this lane or this lane or this lane correctly, you're fucking it for the whole team. It's like, fuck this game. Like I just want to play the game then. You know, like in any game I play, it's like the main point is that you should have fun, right? You may not be the best at it, but you shouldn't also just being like, well, you fucking tanked it because you don't know how to play. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, Jesus, I forgot that this free fucking game was supposed to be a little bit more casual.
Yeah.
But anyways. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I thought Mamba made that comment. This guy thinks games are fun. It's like, I'm sorry I didn't grow up playing fucking Ghosts and Goblins for fun. Sonic 2.
This guy plays video games for fun. What is this?
Run for fun.
Oh God.
But what you been up to? I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. But also, you've been playing anything? I feel like you've been playing a lot of Destiny. You've been playing a lot of.
Oh, you don't need to feel that. I am. I've been playing a lot of Destiny. It's like when I have. I mean, I'm between gigs right now, so I'm just like, I look for jobs, I audition, I do the thing, but it's like I kind of have some time on my hands, so I'll do some stuff around the house, and then I will play some Destiny. I mean, I had a loss in the family, so that took some emotional bandwidth for a few days as I processed it. But I mean, otherwise, yeah, a lot of Destiny.
I feel like Destiny. You know how like the world is a funny place, and existence is a funny thing, because as you were mentioning, like things that happen in your life, I wanted to make a point and maybe they'll watch it, but I was like, oh, you know, you're saying like there was a recent loss in your family. I was gonna be like, oh yeah, this past weekend my friend had a birthday. Everyone shout out MX Raph in the chat.
Hey,
it's like, is that weird? It's like here's, you know, a loss and then a birthday, and it's like, that's so like, yeah, it's crazy.
Life is cycles. It's very, yeah. I mean, I could talk a whole bunch about this, but it's like, yeah. I mean, it was somebody that, I don't know, systematically, societally, the norm is for them to mean a lot to you, but they didn't, unfortunately, and so it was the processing of just like. Years and years of pain, and then all of a sudden this person is no longer on the planet, and you're like, there's a lot of complex emotions to experience and honor, navigate and move through them, and not to shame yourself for having them, whether it is I can't even think of the word, when you feel relief, like a relieved feeling of like a lot of like just emotions that are just they're difficult to even put into words to other people, because there is like just a lizard brain of like not wanting to say something that people might, you know. I did make a post publicly on Facebook, and I don't normally talk about this situation. It's literally a handful of people that I've told about this particular relationship in my life and the pain that it caused me, and to talk about it publicly was like a big step for me, because it also like there's so many people that I've only just met over the past couple of years that were just so supportive, and it's just like, you know, you open yourself up. And like when I tell people that I don't drink, it's like you open yourself up to this. You're being I feel like you're being authentic, but you're also being you're putting yourself on the spot. I can't think of the word. Anyway, vulnerable. You're being vulnerable in those moments, and it's like it's society kind of the norm is to kind of treat you or teach you to just not be vulnerable, but sometimes it's like, you know, for yourself, you sometimes need to be.
I think the tough thing too is like it's a double-edged sword, right? So like half of society is like, you know, fuck your feelings, facts don't care about your feelings, and then also like, you know, keep it to yourself, pull you up from your bootstraps, yada yada. Being a man, you know, you're not really allowed to have emotional feelings. But then also another half of society is like, shut the fuck up because you're just being performative as fuck, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like there's this weird like fucked if you do, fucked if you don't kind of like pill.
Exactly.
You kind of have to you have to kind of swallow with it. So like at the end of it all, like I always say it's like lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep, right? So like you have to just be like true to yourself and be like, is this a societal pressure you're doing this for, or is this you doing it for you, right? So you know, it's like the age-old adage of like, think before you speak or think before you do. And then like to me it's usually like of like, are you going to say something stupid, right? That's how you used to think about it as a kid, like, are you saying something stupid? But it's more of like, am I doing this for me, or am I doing this to like because I have to keep up appearances?
As an actor, that's something that because what I had to learn, like one of the reasons why I stepped. Wow, we're getting deep thoughts with Josh and Tom before this update.
Don't worry, we'll get right back into light and stupid with the news.
But I mean, like as an actor, what I had to learn is like why I was doing it, because it's like there's like, you know, sometimes we talk about like passion, purpose, gifts, or whatever, and it's like, you know, you do something because you feel like you need to. Like acting for me is like since I was a teenager. I say this and it sounds hyperbolic, but acting saved my life. It changed me completely, and it gave me a strength and a resilience to be able to go through some of the things I did in my life. And so what I had to learn is like what you're saying is like, before I do this thing, whether it's like a post about even a job that I did, something I booked or whatever, it's like, am I doing this as a marketing, networking thing, or am I doing it only for the purpose to have external validation given to me so I can feel some sort of validity to myself? And I think we've talked about like there was an episode we did of Nerd On that we talked about like social media and how that, when we did Inside, Bo Burnham's Inside, we went on kind of like a semi-long tangent about the like how social media and how we navigate it nowadays. And it's but yeah, every time I post, I question. I'm like, what am I? Okay. This is safe.
it's a weird navigational thing. It's a jungle. It's a sea. It's a voyage. It's a prism to kind of really just like have to engage with something that one, people are utilizing in such a passive manner, but almost like an essential manner, but then also finding your like almost your rhythm with it, where you can't like derive the same pleasure other people might, because you'll find that if anyone else uses social media and you try to like emulate and imitate that, like it'll just kind of be a hollow experience versus like what it actually means for you.
Yeah.
And so like it's kind of like, I always think about like that. I don't always think about it, but it reminds me of the experience you had with Fallout 76, where people were fucking shitting on the game and fucking destroying that game. We're like, it's so hyped and shit. Yeah. And then it tanked. But what you found was a really cool group of people to play games with.
Yeah.
And to me, that is like the through line importance, no matter what, is like human connection in a positive, healthy way, right? Like, you can find connection anywhere, even through the most terrible means, and meet terrible people. You can connect with people that way, but like, internet, social media, politics, whatever it is, like finding human connection and kind of not even like validation, but almost like proving that your existence is a fucking crazy, phenomenal thing. So,
I dig it.
yeah, but I think we preambled quite a bit.
Yeah, we did.
If you want more of that,
this was all about me. Like, are you good? Are you cool? Is everything good? Oh, the loaded facial expression.
I'd have to say I've said for the last year trying to be better, and I've expressed with the Nerd On patrons as well as the stream audience that I've been going through some kind of ways, and I feel like in many regards a lot of people have actually seen me be and change differently and grow, and whatever the fuck that means. I would have to say I'm in a point where it's kind of like I'm managing, I'm getting along better. There's still a lot on my plate. There's still a lot for me to do. And I just want to continue the momentum.
The growth process.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely tried to like, take that upon myself where I can kind of hold a bigger space for other things as well as myself, and learn a lot of different, like the fucking sappy syrupy shit of like
I never heard that phrase, and I saw your Instagram post and I was like, I've never heard that before.
Oh no. I mean, now I could say it, like, and this will be like a baby announcement also. And I told the patrons to not say anything about it, but like, and it's not like I was ashamed of it, but it's more like I don't want it to be like, there's always, again, it's a fucking performative shit where it's like, I'm in therapy. And so like my therapist will always fucking say like, we don't have to go syrupy. And he really respects like my level of like, I am not someone who really resonates or accepts or needs or even respects like words of affirmation. I really, really kind of just need the like follow through, time put in kind of like love language.
Yeah.
And so like
action over words.
Yeah. And then also just kind of like, come through, like if, like, hey, I'm here for you. And then it's like, but in those moments, are you here for me?
But because I called you and I texted you and you weren't there.
Yes. So it gets hard, but like that being said, so when we talk about like, there's just a mantra of like learning how to hold yourself, right? Like feeling loved and warm again. And after experiencing a certain amount of life, to answer your or your short question with my long answer, learning how to hold myself, it has been probably one of the biggest growths and all that stuff. And really into the syrupy bullshit of just like fucking drive somewhere and be like, Tom, this is what happened today. You did this, you did this, you did this. It was a lot. It was hard. It was easy. It was all this. You did it. You're going to go home and you're going to blah, 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 and you're going to do it again tomorrow. Or it's on the way while I'm like going to like go treat myself to go like buy a Gundam or like go get food. And so it's like that shit where it's really weird, and it's like it doesn't have like, and it's always like what I think about like caffeine, right? Where like to me I'm like, caffeine doesn't do anything for me, but like I know it does something. I always just imagine be like, I have a shot of energy, where like to me it's like learning how to hold myself is like, isn't like, well now don't you feel better? It's like, no, it's like, but this is
it's a process. It's a muscle. When you're building, confidence isn't the right word. Self-worth, when you're building those kinds of and holding yourself to a, respecting yourself and liking yourself, even of like, kind of like, yeah, like, I mean, we were talking about it in the digital green room of just like, Yeah. Anyway, it's a muscle and you build it because you are kind of taught to kind of shit on yourself. And if you have been shit on yourself, you kind of like, that's your programming. You're just like, I'm going to shit on myself constantly. But if you learn do something different, new programming, it feels fucking weird.
Oh yeah, no,
First.
and you know me, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z, and so like there's a quote in there that I really fucking love, and it's from Vegeta. And you know, like there's been a part of me that's always, you know, Josh, you know, there's like a dog in me that like will always like fight and like try to be better and da 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 da. It could be a little like rough around the edges, but like it's propelled me to do the things I've needed to do in my life. And it's something I think about what Vegeta says to Trunks, and he says like, think about your pride. If you're my son as you claim, then I won't tolerate failure from you any longer. You will be the best or you'll be nothing. And it's really fucking like hard and intense, but like if you take it like in the very way that like he means to say it, he's just like, don't you ever settle for like less than greatness. And it's really like, you know, that hard push. But it's a super tough love. But in reality, for me, it's more like, well, when you get to a point where that starts hurting more than helping, then you got to like do the, hey, this is what you did, da da da.
Yeah.
Was it
just
enough?
Factually, just even
was
if
enough
you
for
just
you?
fact speaking, just this is what happened. This is the let's do the show. You want to do
You
the
had
show?
to we'll do the show. We got to do the clappy claps.
Claps are fun.
You want to go ahead?
Sure. This is Josh.
This is a Steve's internet.
Yeah.
Fucking clapped. Who wants to go first? You want to go first with news, or you want me to go first with news?
I'll go first, just because I think mine should be quick. He says. I love my co-host. I love my co-host so much. Over the weekend, I got a text message from Corey, and he goes, "Hey Josh, I put your news in there for you," which I actually do appreciate. It was announced that there will be a Harry Potter reboot series. I do find this news interesting. I do find it. I am in a very interesting relationship with the Harry Potter universe. And the only reason why I say this is because I kind of say, when you look at, I don't know, just reboots in general, it's like we got 8 movies. And they weren't short movies. We got 8 movies. And I'm kind of like, well, why do we need I go to a place of like, it's like when you get a remake of a movie, of a video game, you're like, do I need that? Did we need that? Did we need to make that? Does that need to happen? Not saying that the movies were just like respected the books and the original so much. And we've talked about it on the show of like preserving the magic that Harry Potter had from us, despite the creator's actions and words. But I mean, it's just like we say with anything. I'm not going to make any sort of judgment on it pre-seeing it. I can't, oh, it's going to suck, or it's going to be good, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, I have no clue. I'll watch it and see what happens. They did make a specific note that they're being a reboot and being, 20 years later. It's like they have more ability to be diverse in casting. The Cursed Child, which was the play of Harry Potter, Hermione, the first one, was a black woman, and they were like, we can do that. We can, anything's possible. So it opens up the world of the diversity that can be represented and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I think it's interesting. I'm probably going to watch it. Let's be honest. I'll probably watch at least the first episode. And if it's good, I'll keep watching it. But I'm kind of like, but it says that they want to the words were basically like more true to the original, the source material. So I'm like, okay. All right.
I think the rumored plan is that each season will be a book.
I mean, that tracks.
So they can take more time.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say is obviously it's riled in tumultuous press of Harry Potter fans who don't give a shit. Harry Potter fans would be like,
fuck yes, we get to actually see fucking Peeves or something. All I would ever ask, as if they'll ever knock on my door, is when we get to the point where we must resurrect Voldemort, I motherfucking character design that shit, because his hands should look like spiders and his face should look like a skeletal snake man with red eyes, like in the book. That was my biggest, only like my real biggest, like everyone's always like, Dumbledore doesn't scream at Harry Potter. I was like, shut your bitch ass. Look what they did to my boy. Look what they did. Like, they could have made Voldemort fucking nightmares. Like, I think of this skulking, fucking creepy, like, you know, like creepy motherfucker. Like you should have nightmares that Voldemort is in your dreams. He's in your walls. Instead, I got this normal looking dude who looks like he eats pretty well and he just has a fucking snake nose. I'm like, who gives a
skin
shit?
Condition. Okay.
He's bald and he's got a snake nose. Who gives a shit? I'm like, oh, like the regular Tom.
Something's wrong with the speech. I don't know what's happening.
The regular, like, fucking Filch is scary. I'll kill you. That he's scarier because, like, oh, I don't like him. Like, he's got the little cat and he'll fucking kill me. But this guy's just like, he's just gonna whisper at me really hard.
It's one of those moments where I go, "That's what you took from that." That's
like, like I need him to have like sharp, long teeth. Like fucking snakes don't really, like almost like viper fucking shit. I'm like, ugh. It's like that's what he needs to look like. It was like, ugh.
You know, almost, and also like the thing with announcements is I'm always like with a grain of salt. You know, it's like we've had some things happen like over the past few years where it's like, this is gonna happen, and then it doesn't, or it goes in a totally different direction. That it's like when you see an announcement, you're kind of like, and it's also related to the Max world, which is weird to say, but it's like the Max world that you're like, is it gonna happen? Like, are they gonna like kill everything? Like, I don't know. Anyway, I think
who knows? Maybe they'll just pull a Final Fantasy VII remake and be like, this is another dimension. Or do what's that? Was that Star Trek Discovery, where they're like that timeline and then this timeline? Who knows? Is that all your news? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all my news. I honestly, I didn't have news, and then Corey gave it to me, so it was a gift.
All right. Well, I got two pieces of news. First one. Let's do the difficult one. Let's do the difficult one first. We're gonna talk about some beef. And for y'all who don't know, this is the number two. Huh?
It's what's for dinner? No, I'm just.
It's what's for dinner, baby. It's the number two stream show on Netflix at the moment, starring Steve Yeun and Ali Wong. Good. And it's A24 collaborative production on Netflix, 10 episodes. Big deal. A24, top of the game. Everything Everywhere All at Once. You know, fucking. Bo is Afraid. Everybody's like A24, right? Yeah. And beef comes out, and you got like, we got Asian on Asian and Asian shit. Like me, my Asianness it's all about Asian shit right now, right? So everyone's all having a moment. However, part of this moment, which it's interesting because of when it happens. It's kind of like it's the opposite of what I think of like when Disney is like, hey guys, we're gonna have our first Black princess, and everyone's like, oh shit, diversity. And it's like, motherfucker, that company's been in business for 70 years. They could have been doing this shit for a minute, but now it's lucrative. Now it's popular.
Oh yeah, it's just like when change your profile picture, it means that this to a black square or a rainbow square or whatever, it means that you're a friend or an ally. I couldn't think of the word ally. And it's like, and I love the discourse of like, yeah, because it's lucrative. It's a great marketing move.
But in the same vein, on the opposite end, one of the actors on the show is Dave Cho. And Dave Cho, who people may not know who this person is, got into a lot of their reputation is now in some fire, causing ripples into the show and the good press it kind of received, right? A lot of people just doing complete like protest of the show, protest of any of the press and all that shit, throwing everything that the creators, Netflix, A24, Steve Yeun, Ali Wong away, right? And so like having this moment, it's kind of like, you know, I would say like Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then having fucking some problematic person or someone who has a problematic past involved. It kind of just sullies every good thing about it, which is unfair in some aspects, and I could understand why other people in other aspects, because people want to be firm in their beliefs, and I'm never going to try to tell people what to do and how they should live their life and conduct their business, unless it's evil shit, you know. But that being said, if you don't know who Dave Cho is, I used to listen to the Dave Chang podcast, a lot of Daves today. Dave Chang, who owns the restaurant Momofuku and the Momofuku Milk Bar and Major Domo in Los Angeles, is one of the like more prestigious, not even prestigious, but just proliferating chef minds and personalities in the world. They have like 3 shows, I think. They have Mind of a Chef. Prolific. Ugly Delicious. And like Anthony Bourdain, before he passed, said like anything that Dave Chang touches will probably be the next, like the most real like food shows out there. And so he created a podcast and had Dave Cho on the show, and that's how I got to know who Dave Cho was. And Dave Cho is like an artist. He's like a, you know, canvas artist, and he has a show on FX. And he kind of came into the spotlight because he made a mural for Facebook, and Facebook didn't pay him like the full amount, so they gave him shares. And when it went public, he became like an overnight millionaire, if not maybe billionaire.
Oh damn!
And he had a really crazy life because of it. Like, imagine just like, you know, you're struggling with your art, trying to make ends meet and sell that shit, and then people not buying it. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like you have literally fucked the world money. And so it's like nothing matters, you know. Like, it wasn't because you worked really hard on, you know, all your craft. It was because out of nowhere, one lucky business like went public, and now your shit's worth everything. And so he talks about that, right? He talks about his mental health. He talks about how he had his podcast that he said some really fucked up shit on. He talks about his process, all this other stuff, and a lot of mental health, a lot of dark shit. So I definitely would recommend, if anyone listens to those episodes on the Dave Chang show, like, just, you know, keep in mind of like trying to be in a good place afterwards. And they talk about like how to get out of that, you know, deep dark spot. But his podcast that I mentioned is what a lot of people kind of threw him under fire for, because he made a lot of really off-color jokes, really problematic jokes, and it pretty much, it's all started resurfacing, you know, very much like a James Gunn, Kevin Hart, these, you know, people who said things in the past and now has it haunt them in the future. And, you know, everyone was like, you know, boo on all the creatives and the executives and producers who collaborated with him. And, you know, it's interesting that it happened now, not before he was on Mandalorian, not before he was on FX with his own TV show. Like, it happened with this moment, right? And it's one of those things where it always it tends to feel like it had happened with this one. It couldn't happen somewhere else on his own projects, right? Yeah. Is it a canceling? I wouldn't suggest so, but I would say like it just tells a story of like how some people are out to kind of like find these things should anyone reach a level of success, and not saying to be afraid of what you do, but knowing that like, you know, people are going to come and defend you, the ones who kind of like know who you are. And those people are people like Steve Yeun, Ali Wong, and the creators, who all kind of had this joint like statement after all this press fire happened, and saying like he's done a lot of good work to kind of like amend for the terrible things he's said. Again, it's all things that he said. There's no like claims against him, X, Y, and Z. So it's just a very interesting place where A24 and Netflix are at this moment, as well as this show, because the show kind of like blew up like wildfire, and then now it's kind of like completely silent in a weird way, because now no one wants to talk about it. Moving on from that is the second bit of A24 news, which I'm most excited about because, as I say, every once in a while the pyramids align and the stars are formed. YouTube aggregates really good storytellers. We got Bo Burnhams, we got David F. Sandbergs, and now we got RACKA RACKA. If y'all don't know who that is, if you just Google or just YouTube Harry Potter versus Star Wars, you'll see RACKA RACKA in the most bombastic, stupid, wacky, dumb fight scenes in the world. It is amazing. It is dumb. It is like cardboard, cosplay, but the effects and the obscene, like absolute bonkers action that they do in that is amazing. They do Avengers versus Justice League. They've done like Halo versus Lord of the Rings, I think, or something like that. It's amazing. These honestly mad lad guys went and made a horror film. They made a horror film called Talk to Me and premiered at Sundance Film Festival, and it immediately became like the crowd big pleaser, and A24 acquired the rights to them. And
Wow.
they were actually approached by current DC studios, and they said no. So like that's the interesting thing with it all, where it's like A24 they like A24, but they do not want to be in that big boy, Warner Brothers studio world, which I'm like 100% for. I think only very few people can kind of come out of like, I did one thing and now I'm big studio boy, and then come back out and they're still like wanting to work in big studio films. Like David F. Sandberg even said, like, after Shazam, he's out of superheroes right now. Like he just doesn't want to do it. And it's like, you hear that and you're like, I understand it, and it's unfortunate, but like,
Yeah, there's so much
it's
heat
hard.
that comes with it. There's just
Yeah,
so much.
it's hard.
Yeah.
So I would hate for them to like really crash and burn really quickly, as if like it just got burnt up. So go check out RACKA RACKA on YouTube. They're really awesome, and I'm really excited to see Talk to Me. It's a horror movie, and the way they said like they wanted to use horror and a Ouija board in a way to kind of like of a coming of age story, and I'm like, that's fucking badass. So
Nice.
all that being said, I'm ready to move to some questions.
We're doing it. We're doing it. Like I said at the top, this is the part of the show in which we answer questions from you, the audience, the people. And you can submit those questions in so many different ways. I made a website. Shout out to BRAD. Go to nerdon.tv/questions. You know what I learned? Actually, I was 37 years old when I learned that / is not correct. nerdon.tv/questions. I'm terrible. But my favorite way is if you go to the Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord. There are channels in there that you can submit, but my favorite ways is to join the Patreon, the Nerd On Nation, and you get what we call the Nerd On Nudge, where we answer your questions first, and you have secret channels within there that you can submit your questions. And you can ask questions like B-Rad. B-Rad asks, time to bless up. Which fictional religion would you be most likely to follow? Bonus points if you can spin an evil cult as a good thing. I think I had
Got one in mind?
Yeah, I do. It's going to be the religion from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the religion that develops from worshiping Bill and Ted, and the main thing is be excellent to each other. I'm here for that. What you got, Tom? He's going to go for the bonus points, aren't you?
No, I think. Wait, bonus. I mean, I am going to go for bonus points because I'm just say this.
This guy fucks.
I'm gonna just say this. Everyone listening, do not. This is a bit. It's a little.
You gonna get spicy? What's
a little spoilery, I think.
Oh.
And I'm trying not to use any names that would be super spoilery. I would follow the religion following Muad'Dib from Dune.
I I fucking knew it.
None of y'all know. If y'all watch the movie, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about yet. If you read the books, y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Muad'Dib. That's how they say Muad'Dib. How do you not? Billions of people followed it. Secondly, it's also the one who like became the galactic emperor of like an empire that spans billions of light years, that literally you could only travel through Holtzman engines. And so it's like, how do you not follow someone like that, especially if they potentially ruled for thousands of years, as well as like had the ability to like see the future and then also know the events of everything that happened in the past. Like, wild. And then also could kind of like read your mind. Like it's like I wouldn't say like it's a cult, but it was definitely like it led room, and the book really does talk about like religious extremes and like how they get built. And it's just like, I'm not better than nobody, but like if I saw that shit, I'd be like, I think that's it. I think that's it. Like it's just like,
that's the answer.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it.
If I literally saw like a dude walk on water, I'm like, if I can try to prove it wrong, and I'm still like, if it's still right, I'm like, I guess that's him.
That's the guy.
She's her, or he's him. Whatever it is, I have to believe it.
I love it. I love it. Next question comes from Dusk Ninja Kenji. In terms of gaming news, what is going to be the game you're looking forward to the most coming out in the remainder of 2023, and why?
2023, a game.
My mind doesn't work too far into the future, so like I have one that's coming out in May, but it's like past that I'm like, again, like I was saying with movies, it's like, or with TV shows, it's like, yeah, the game was said that it's going to come out, but it's like could be delayed. So I always like,
Isn't that a new Plague Tale?
Oh, that already came out. That was last year.
Jesus.
Redfall is one that I'm really interested in. It's almost like a Back 4 Blood with vampires. It looks fun. Looks real fun.
If T-Dog watches this, I know they'll be excited for Pikmin 4.
Mm-hmm.
Diablo 4, Starfield, Jedi Survivors. I know Ethan Who's all about that life.
Sea of Stars. Oh yeah, Sea of Stars.
The hell, Sea of Stars?
It's like a retro based game. I mean, it looks beautiful. But I got an announcement for it, and it looks beautiful. It's like a turn-based RPG, but if you saw it, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's like a retro game."
Look at Lies of P. Ooh, Pinocchio-inspired Souls-like game.
Oh damn!
Oh yeah, I remember we were talking about this shit. Ooh, Suki now. I'm pretty fucking close to start playing Sekiro for the first time, and I'm like, do I do it? Do I fucking put myself through this shit again? Because the Elden Ring DLC hasn't happened, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to happen. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's supposed to happen. So it's like, I feel like I'm not actually done with Elden Ring. Like in my brain, I know that I've beaten it, and I'm on New Game Plus. But I'm like, I kind of really want to I want to get all the trophies. I haven't moved on from it. But no, I started Demon's Souls. It's hard for me to say. Somebody in my game group was talking about Sekiro and was saying that it's so good. And I'm like,
apparently Elden Ring's harder. So I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Easy.
Okay.
Fucking I'm out. It's like, okay, if that's easier, then I'll go through this in no time. Baby game. fucking baby game.
Fucking baby game. Next
What was it? I played Sonic 2. That shit fucking way harder than Elden Ring. Game I'm excited for. Yeah, I'll say Liza P. Also, Tears of the Kingdom. Ethan, who said in the chat. I mean, like, I'm just like, oh, Zelda. I have a really great appreciation for it because I beat the fuck out of that game. It's kind of like, Josh, would you have had the same appreciation for Elden Ring if you did not fight Melania?
Probably not. No, it's a good.
You could have respect for it, but have the amount of respect you had, you know?
Yeah, the amount of like I bettered as a human being by fighting
like Tears of the King, like Breath of the Wild. I was like, oh shit, I can make this as easy or as hard as I can, and that was something I really enjoyed. Next question.
Next question comes from Jose Cipher. Hope I'm saying that right. $1 for every time someone lies to you, or $5 for every time someone says your name?
Easy, I know.
You go first because I keep taking the first answer.
$1 every time someone lies to me. I could Jada my entire life. Get my name out your fucking mouth. If I knew a lie, if I just knew a lie and got $1 from it, I was like, hey, fuck you. Give me that goddamn
Give me
dollar.
that dollar. You only have it in pennies. What the fuck?
That's fine. All I ever asked for you to say my name is put some respect on that shit.
Yeah, I'm the same. I would take $1 for every time someone lies to me. I've already been lied to a lot, so I've got some money in the bank. So here we are.
But if I was like a crazy like sex fiend though, man, my name, $5.
I mean, I have the potential to make a lot of money because there's a lot of Joshes in the world.
But also, yeah, I was gonna say, like, they could just say my name. They don't even have to say it to me. It's like, I just get $5, easy.
Yeah. Nobody owns a trademark for Josh, so yeah, say it. $5 for me.
Yeah, and Bad Reprint in the chat has a good point. You also know when someone's lying to you, and you're like, you motherfucker.
Why do I have $1 in my pocket all of a sudden? You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
What?
It's like,
now I got to figure out what lie. What did you just say to me?
You know what I would do? I would fucking game the system up so hard. I would just lie so hard to myself.
I don't know if the system works in that way.
Prince money immediately. Just dollars are coming out of my mouth. That's what I do.
I mean, that tracks. You have the next questions, Tom.
So the next questions come from the chat. If there's anyone who wants or who can give us questions in the chat, please do so.
Chat questions and Discord. Where do the Discord questions go? Do you put them on our sheet, or is that something that you put in a note?
I put it in our sheet. So
Okay,
you know how
cool.
we have like update topics. The next one to the right is update questions. I put them in there.
That's okay. Cool. I just didn't know where you, because I know you have your like Gollum horde that you like have all the questions.
Oh, so in the mega update notes, when we did that mega update that one time, I just have random fucking floating questions in there.
Nice.
That's when I would.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I see. You know, I think we have answered all the questions that are in here. So if there's any questions from the chat, that could be good. I can ask you this because me and Corey, I think, answered this last time. But Josh, have you played with a lot of mods on games so far?
Not very much. I played with a few on Fallout New Vegas, and I only played with one on Elden Ring. Trying to think. I think I did like old school Oblivion. I played some mods there, but it was so long ago that I couldn't even tell you what. But I played a little bit with mods, but not a lot.
Because the question from Johnny Horror from last week was, on a Skyrim, I found a mod that you can have a fox character that I made Disney Robin Hood. So the question is, what is your favorite mod in any game? I think I pretty much said how on Civ, you can be any character. So you could be like Doctor Doom or like T'Challa from Wakanda, and I made mine from this one character from an anime. But I was wondering what, like, if you had any mods that you played with.
I mean,
or that
I
you
really liked the Elden. I mean, Elden Ring has a lot of cool mods that I really just haven't been able to try. But what I liked about this mod is it's the seamless co-op mod. It basically unlocks the co-op where you don't have to have any sort of fear of being invaded, because there were so many times that Gotti and I would be going through and we're just focusing on story. We're just like, we're playing the thing and we're just trying, and it gets so disruptive where you're like, I'm in this area that I know a lot of people are going to be. They're just fucking spamming the invasion. They just want to invade people, and it's like, here we are, and so it just got disruptive. It's like I'm spending an hour not even being able to play the game. I'm just like on the way to do the thing. And so I really liked the seamless co-op, and it was easy to install, and yeah.
When I was playing with friends, they were all on like New Game Plus 4. So they were like super powerful. And so anytime like someone came invade, then I was like, motherfuckers don't know what neighborhood they walked into. And all they had were the blood katanas, so they were just like destroying everyone who came by. I was like,
blood by like a nick. Just
you just see him just go, blood comes out. Then I was like, oh, y'all fucked up. And then like to me, I'm just like, I'm just an old, my character was just like a scrawny old man with a staff. So I was like, oh, leave me alone. And they'd have to defend me, and then they would just they would kill him. And then every once in a while they're like, because if in that version, when you co-op, you have like a third of your life. And so it's like a lot harder for you to just like mow through the game. In the seamless co-op, do they have their full lifespan or no?
I don't actually remember. I just know that you don't get invaded. So
there you go.
I was just thinking, oh no, I have some guys that I play Destiny with that we play this mode called Gambit, which you can invade others. And when somebody invades and there's certain people that are on my fire team, I'm like, oh, you done fucked up. You don't want to mess with these people, but cool, you do it. Okay, here we go.
Ooh, I see a question actually from the Discord. We could do like maybe 2 more questions. Oh, I have one from the chat. Chat one comes first.
Yep.
I'll say the ones from... Question. From Battery Print, what are some things you'd wish you'd been able to do a podcast on since the hiatus started? Ooh, actually, it's so funny because we had a text going out talking about like we have to do a meeting about like our next few topics, and I had a list of like all the topics I want to do. So, Josh, I would like to hear you first.
Yeah, I mean, since our hiatus, I think I can only speak for myself, but I can kind of see it as an observer of my co-hosts. We've all changed as people, even within now we can say a year that the hiatus has been kind of going on. And I've gotten really interested in like mental health, and I just think it would be really interesting to do podcast episodes on mental health within gaming, within the media that we consume, that kind of thing. But even like doing special, kind of like the Nerds Explain series, like a series of podcasts that are with creators discussing mental health as creators. Because like Nerd On, we've talked about like lifting other creators up and showing our audience that. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to topic, I mean, I've never been afraid to run out of like, if we were to do specific like shows, movies, video games or whatever, I've never been afraid to run out of those kinds of topics. So like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to talk about this movie. But it's those like think pieces that we sometimes do that has crossed my mind quite a bit over the past year.
Topics. I mean, I'm kind of like, people have seen like hopefully some of you have seen like the top 10 movies I did for last year. And it kind of really wanted me to I really wanted to kind of do a little bit more of those like analysis focuses on like how we watch films and then how we derive meaning from how visual language is expressed.
And it gets a little heady, but I wanted to do it in like a fun, goofy way. That being said, if there's a podcast I want to do, I kind of always want to talk about like a little bit about how things have changed, like how has the viewing experience changed and where we hope it kind of goes, or like how it feels like on the consumer end, it feels like how studios are wanting these products to be perceived. I find that very interesting that there is actually a dialogue between what a consumer purchases and then what businesses respond to that. Because a lot of people will constantly claim how there's not enough data, that there's not enough data to say that like this is going to be successful or not. They could only really show like what is super successful, but not if like a new idea has a chance to even make it into the market.
Yeah.
So like, I get interested with that. I get interested in like what actually like pertains to what is a good movie experience, or like not even just like going out and sitting with a bunch of people you don't give a fuck about, but like what makes a good movie for you, right? Or like what makes a good game for you, like
like there's this like even it like not even just the experience of seeing the movie, but it's like even the movie itself, like it does this for me, or this that kind of thing, like that. Is that what you're saying?
So like
it makes me think about the, or like those kinds of things. Yeah,
I constantly ask a lot of people, and a lot of people tend to think that I'm like being really fucking like
pretentious,
nitpicky, when I just like, what's it about? And they're like, oh, it's about these kids who fucking like find a game and then it sucks them in, and
not
then
the basic
like
facts. What's it about?
What's it about? Like, is it
what's the metaphor, the themes? What's it trying
is
to
it
teach
trying
me?
to like express like the concept that like you should really appreciate the time you have before it's gone? Or is it just being like, oh, fucking fun comedy, or like lighthearted adventure romp, or just like it's really sad? And it's like, but what's it about? Like, and you know, I think a lot of people will say like, oh, you think too much about that shit, but I'm like, I feel like some people take years to make something like that. We should probably give them the time to talk about it. You know, like you can't just be like, it's good, it's bad. I just think that's a little bit of a disservice of like the viewing experience, or even like games, right? Where it's like, what do you need? Do you need flashy graphics, or do you need tight controls for a game that doesn't fucking interest you? Or do you need great voice acting, or do you need great text boxes? Like, what are the things that actually matter for you? You know, and it's not just me. It has to be a dialogue.
I like that a lot.
Want to do okay? So there's 3 questions and a final question. So we'll pop these out. Ethan, who do you wear wigs? Follow-up question: have you worn wigs? Second follow-through: will you wear wigs? Final question: when will you wear wigs?
Okay, I will take these one at a time. Not currently. Yes, I have worn wigs in the past. I am an actor. Will you wear wigs? Probably. I'm an actor. It'll probably come up. When will you wear wigs? No fucking clue.
I'll go. No. Yes. Yes. When I feel like it.
Tonight, maybe.
You know?
I don't know why I thought of Silence of the Lambs, like just in front of the mirror, like.
I think of Jimmy O Yang's stand-up where he's like, you know, with my long hair from the back, I look like a hot Asian lady. And then from the front, I look like a hot Asian lady.
There's a very sad meme. I don't know if Bonnie had seen it, but it was a picture of Mickey Rourke and Axl Rose, and they were like, I mean, they've both aged, and they don't look all that great in their age. And somebody said Mickey Rourke and Axl Rose look like an old couple that have a antique store in Portland. And it's like, yeah.
Last question of the night. Okay. Bad reprint question: you can own one film print of any film in existence. Which film would you choose?
I know Tom's. Man, would, if somebody said, hey, Tom, I want to give you this, it's the original, you would go fetal
Which one are you thinking of?
I think you'd want Prestige.
I could want that a lot. I would say that's my favorite movie of all time, right?
I think there's want to own the film print of it.
I think there's an argument for maybe Kiki's.
Oh.
But like, I honestly think, and not because like it's a meme or anything like that, but because so many people refute its fucking like existence, I would want the Snyder Cut.
Oh shit.
Because like so many motherfuckers were like, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And it's like, he literally just posted
I would see a
like,
social video of you walking into your house, stamping, pointing to a fucking shelf and going, see?
That is probably my favorite part of like a cultural fandom moment where it's just like, I got to watch a thing, I own shit, product and merchandise from a thing that for 4 years people were like, it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Where it's like an entire part of like culture and humanity literally was just trying to gaslight people, being like, there is no cut, there's no footage, it's like, this is what they have. And then he's like, I have the stock right here. And Momoa actually saw it like during like in its like not fully finished like CGI shit, but it's like all the footage was shot. And I'm just like, what you fucking talking about, bro? And so like to me, I'm like, yeah, I have a thing that was once fucking mythological at a certain point.
Man, because movies and video games, but like movies are like the heart thing. They're my thing. So there's so many movies, but if I had to pick one, probably The Big Lebowski. I would love to. I would just be like, I have that. I think that's really cool. Now, do I have a projector to play it?
Oh, I wouldn't even play it. I would just be like, I
would put that thing in a case.
I want that buried with me in my sarcophagus.
I would do everything I could to get everybody to sign it, and like it would be like one of my prized possessions. It would be like this thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's definitely like many remasters and different prints of the Snyder Cut. But with Kiki's, I actually feel like there may not be a lot out there, and
I
I'd have to be like
a lot of those older movies. Like you're like, it may not exist. Like like some of them might have gone up in a fire or just like film degrades.
Flood.
Like it just does. And
you can't watch The Thing anymore on film without watching like damaged versions. Like they usually do one at the Egyptian, and the one that I watched was like sun aged. So like there's some parts where it's just orange.
Oh man. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyways,
that's the update, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on down, spending some Monday night with us. We'll be back throughout the week. I'll be here tomorrow night. Tom will be here probably on Thursday. I just say probably because I don't want to lock anybody down. What if something really important happens? I don't know. We're most likely gonna be here. Thanks for hanging out. If you're new to us, welcome. Glad to have you. Check out our website, nerdon.tv. But yeah, we are going to raid somebody.
Who do we raid, everyone?
Somebody to raid.
Who do we want to raid? Who do we all want to send the Nerd on Love?
Says Ghoulie Girl.
Ghoulie Girl.
Don't you want somebody to raid?
Don't you need somebody to raid?
All right, everyone. Thank you for all your questions. Johnny Horror, thank you for the good night. Bad Reprint, thank you for the raids. Just Mamba, thank you for your presence all times. T-Dog, I hope you have a good rest of your night. Ethan Who, I hope you get every game and you win every class, tests. You succeed. And yeah. That's it.
But that's it. That is the show. Thank you so much. We love you. Take care of yourselves. You know the drill. As always, Nerd on!
Nerd on!